Top 10 Best-Selling Video Games of All Time. Welcome to the Top 10 Best-Selling Video Games of All Time. Nothing could be as cool and interesting as video games. That is, if you're a conversant and synonymous with the right ones, of course. This video will expose you to the most exciting video games that have made their marks in history and have their hands in the sands of time. We are talking about the top 10. 10 being a unique number, will unveil the exceptional ones that have grossed both attention and financial gains. Which video game will take the crown and be number one overall? Stay tuned to find out. Video games for a lot of people is an awesome way to relax and have fun, as well as entertain themselves. But these particular ones that we will be discussing goes beyond entertaining and relaxation. These go a long way to create special bonds among friends, family, and acquaintances. Some people feel video games are for kids, but that was then. And now, with the advent, development, and remodifications made on existing ones, even adults cannot resist the graphics and temptation that they present. Even presidents and great businessmen love to play them too. Some of them even went as far as inventing their own. And this is just to show you the power of video games. Everyone and anyone could be a lover of the video game. It just depends on preference. With so many types of video games to choose from, it's hard to sometimes pick just one. Some people love adventure games, and others love first-person shooter games. Some people love massive multiplayer online games, and others love real-time strategy games. Just to name a few, and the list goes on and on. With all that's been said, the moment you've been waiting for is here. Let's take a clean dive into the top 10 best-selling video games of all time and find out which drew people's attention most, got them buying these games from the manufacturing companies, and eventually keeping up with all the game updates from producers. Let the countdown begin. The top 10 best-selling video games of all time are: Number 10, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario Kart 8 is a kart racing video game developed and published by Nintendo. It was released for the Wii U in May 2014. It retains Mario Kart series game mechanics, where players control Mario franchise characters in kart racing, collecting a variety of items to hinder opponents or gain advantages in the race. Mario Kart 8 introduces anti-gravity driving on walls or ceilings and allows players to bump into each other for a short boost. It has a single-player and multiplayer modes, including online via the Nintendo Network. Mario Kart 8 was a critical and commercial success upon its release. Critics gave positive reviews, praising its new additions, tracks, graphics, gameplay, and orchestrated soundtrack, but criticizing its limited battle mode. It is the best-selling Wii U game, with more than 8 million copies sold worldwide. Based on the sales data, over half of all Wii U owners have a copy of the game. The game continued to receive post-release patches and downloadable content, including additional characters, vehicles and tracks, and support for Nintendo's Amiibo line of figurines. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, an enhanced version of the game for the Nintendo Switch, was released in April 2017. It was also a critical and commercial success, becoming the Switch's best-selling game. Both versions have sold a combined total of more than 41 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling video games of all time. Number 9. Pac-Man. Pac-Man is a maze arcade game developed and released by Namco in 1980. The original Japanese title of Puck-Man was changed to Pac-Man for international releases as a preventative measure against defacement of the arcade machines by changing the P to an F. In North America, the game was released by Midway Manufacturing as part of its licensing agreement with Namco America. The player controls Pac-Man, who must eat all the dots inside an enclosed maze while avoiding 4 colored ghosts. Eating large flashing dots, called power pellets, causes the ghosts to turn blue, allowing Pac-Man to eat them for bonus points. Pac-Man was a widespread critical and commercial success, and it has been enduring commercial and cultural legacy. The game is considered to be important and influential, and is commonly listed as one of the greatest video games of all time. The success of the game led to several sequels, merchandise, and 2 television series, as well as a hit single by Buckner and Garcia. The Pac-Man video game franchise remains one of the highest-grossing and best-selling game series of all time, generating more than $14 billion in revenue as of 2016, and 43 million units in sales combined. The character of Pac-Man is the mascot and flagship icon of Bandai Namco Entertainment, and has the highest brand awareness of any video game character in North America. Number 8. Wii Fit Plus. Wii Fit is designed by Nintendo's Hiroshi Matsunaga for the Wii home video game console. It was released on December 1st of 2007. This is an exercise game with several activities using the Wii balance board peripheral. As of March 2012, Wii Fit was the third best-selling console game not packaged with the console, with 22.67 million copies sold. The game uses a unique platform peripheral called the Wii balance board, on which the player stands during exercise. The board is not a rocking balance board, but a device that tracks the user's center of balance. The game features yoga, strength training, aerobics, and balance games. Matsunaga described the game as a way to help get families exercising together. Wii Fit has been used for psychotherapy, rehabilitation, and has been adopted by various health clubs around the world. It has even been used in nursing homes to improve posture in the elderly. The game has received generally positive reviews, despite criticism over the lack of intensity in some of its workout activities. It has gone on to sell over 43 million copies. Number 7. Pokemon Red, Green, Blue, Yellow. Pokemon Red version and Pokemon Blue version are 1996 role-playing video games developed by Game Freak and published by Nintendo for the Game Boy. They are the first installments of the Pokemon video game series. They were first released in Japan in 1996 as Pocket Monsters Red and Pocket Monsters Green, with the special edition Pocket Monsters Blue being released in Japan later that same year. The games were later released as Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue in North America and Australia in 1998 and Europe in 1999. Pokemon Yellow, an enhanced version, was released in Japan in 1998 and in other regions in 1999 and 2000. Remakes of Red and Green, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, were released for the Game Boy Advance in 2004. Red, Blue, and Yellow, in addition to Green, in Japan, were re-released on the Nintendo 3DS Virtual Console service in 2016 as a commemoration of the franchise's 20th anniversary. The player controls the protagonist from an overhead perspective and navigates him throughout the fictional region of Kanto in a quest to master Pokemon battling. The goal of the game is to become the champion of the Indigo League by defeating the 8 gym leaders and then the top 4 Pokemon trainers in the land, the Elite Four. Another objective is to complete the Pokédex, an in-game encyclopedia, by obtaining the 151 available Pokemon. Red and Blue utilize the Game Link cable, which connects 2 Game Boy systems together and allows Pokemon to be traded or battled between games. Both titles are independent of each other, but feature the same plot, and while they can be played separately, it is necessary for players to trade between both games in order to obtain all of the original 151 Pokemon. Red and Blue were well received, with critics praising the multiplayer options, especially the concept of trading. They received an aggregated score of 89% on game rankings, and are considered among the greatest games ever made, perennially ranked on top game lists, including at least 4 years on IGN's Top 100 Games of All Time. These games went on to sell over 47 million copies, which marked the beginning of what would become a multi-billion-dollar franchise. In 2009, they appeared in the Guinness Book of World Records under Best-Selling RPG on a Game Boy and Best-Selling RPG of All Time. Number 6. Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. Is designed by Shigeru Miyamoto. It is considered by many as one of the best-selling video games and has sold 58 million copies. It has also become one of the first games to infuse a music soundtrack as its centerpiece. This game features coins, mushrooms, and blocks with question marks, which Mario, the main character, tries to obtain. This game helped revive the gaming industry when it crashed in 1983. Number 5. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is an online multiplayer game that is designed to be a battle royale game created by PUBG Corporation, a subsidiary of Bluehole, a South Korean video game company. It was released on the 20th of December in 2017, with 70 million copies sold. It was designed to be played on multiple platforms. This game was inspired by the 2000 Japanese film Battle Royale. In this game, players use a parachute to get into an island and scavenge for the weapon to defeat the enemy at the same time, avoiding being killed by the enemy. Number 4. Wii Sports. Wii Sports is a sports simulation game developed by Nintendo and released in North America on November 19th of 2006. It was released in Japan and Europe later on. It sold over 82 million copies and was specifically made to function in the Wii video game console only. It is also available as part of the selection for the Nintendo Collection. It was designed by Junji Mori. The game is a collection of these 5 sport simulations: tennis, baseball, bowling, golf, and boxing. Players use the Wii remote to mimic the actions of these sports as if they were real. This game was designed with motion sensing capacity in the Wii remote. It is recorded as the best-selling single-platform game of all time and the 4th overall game. Number 3. Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 is yet another exceptional game that impressed the world. It was released on the 17th of September in 2013 and sold 140 million copies worldwide. It was designed by Rockstar North and published by Rockstar Games. The game is featured in the following consoles: PlayStation 3 through 5, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and Xbox Series SX. Its story is centered around missions, including shooting and driving gameplay. This game was aggressively marketed and broke history when it became the fastest-selling entertainment product in history, earning 800 million on its first day and 1 billion in its first 3 days. Number 2. Minecraft. Minecraft is a sandbox video game developed by Mojang. The game was created by Marcus Notch Pearson in the Java programming language. Following several early test versions, it was released as a paid public alpha for personal computers in 2009, before releasing in November 2011 with Jens Bergensten taking over development. Minecraft has since been ported to several other platforms. Altogether, the game has 200 million copies sold and 126 million monthly active users as of 2020. In Minecraft, players explore a blocky, procedurally generated 3D world with infinite terrain and may discover and extract raw materials, craft tools and items, and build structures or earthworks. Depending on game mode, players can fight computer-controlled mobs, as well as cooperate with or compete against other players in the same world. Game modes include a survival mode, in which players must acquire resources to build the world and maintain health, and a creative mode, where players have unlimited resources. Players can modify the game to create new gameplay mechanics, items, and assets. Minecraft has been critically acclaimed, winning several awards and being cited as one of the greatest video games of all time. Social media, parodies, adaptations, merchandise, and the annual Minecon conventions played large roles in popularizing the game. It has also been used in educational environments, especially in the realm of computing systems, as virtual computers and hardware devices have been built in it. In 2014, Mojang and the Minecraft intellectual property were purchased by Microsoft for $2.5 billion. Number 1. Tetris. Tetris is a tile-matching video game created by Russian software engineer Alexei Pajitnov in 1984 for the Electronica 60 computer. It has been published by several companies, most prominently during a dispute over the appropriation of the rights in the late 1980s. After a significant period of publication by Nintendo, the rights reverted to Pajitnov in 1996, who co-founded the Tetris Company with Henk Rogers to manage licensing. In Tetris, players complete lines by moving differently shaped pieces, tetrominos, which descend onto the playing field. The completed lines disappear and grant the player points, and the player can proceed to fill the vacated spaces. The game ends when the playing field is filled. The longer the player can delay this inevitable outcome, the higher their score will be. In multiplayer games, the players must last longer than their opponents, and in certain versions, players can inflict penalties on opponents by completing a significant number of lines. Some adaptations have provided variations to the game's theme, such as three-dimensional displays or a system for reserving pieces. Spectrum Holobytes versions for personal computers sold 150,000 copies for $6 million, 13 million adjusted for inflation, in 2 years between 1988 and 1990. Tetris gained greater success with the release of Nintendo's NES version and Game Boy version in 1989. In 6 months of release by 1990, the NES version sold 1.5 million copies for $52 million, 107 million adjusted for inflation, while Game Boy bundles with Tetris sold 2 million units. Tetris became Nintendo's top seller for the first few months of 1990. Nintendo's versions of Tetris went on to sell a total of 35 million copies for the Game Boy and 8 million for the NES. Sega's arcade version of Tetris was also successful in Japan, where it became the highest-grossing arcade game of 1989. On September 12th of 2006, Tetris would take its next leap onto mobile devices. Tetris by Electronic Arts was released, and by 2010, the game reached 100 million paid mobile downloads. This made it the best-selling paid mobile game of all time, and third best-selling game of all time altogether. By 2014, the paid mobile downloads went over 425 million. As of right now, for 2021, Tetris time with EA expired and has moved over to Network Inc. So far, they have added over 5 million more mobile downloads to this total. This will make Tetris, by far, the #1 best-selling video game of all time, with over 500 million copies and still counting.